125 of the 580 show. Myself, Dante Frawley. Boys are back. Little internal pod. What's up?
What's up, boys?
One and a quarter. Can you believe it, Frawley? 125 episodes.
Yeah, I'm beat up from Strongman Saturday.
Dude, I'm so beat up.
My joints are like, bruh,
Yeah,
I'm
I
feeling it right now. That's where I'm
dude,
at right now.
I sent a message to like my Whoop group, but my Whoop went off right before the pod, and it told me I need 11 hours and 24 minutes of sleep tonight to recover 100%. I was like,
Oh my God.
I'm definitely in prep right now.
Right.
Definitely did too much stuff today, like just
Yeah.
other crap. So
That's just the nature of the beast.
yeah, dude, I feel
You're
you though. I
you're also at peak. You're like 3 weeks out. I
yeah,
mean, that's like the name of the game at 3 weeks out.
yeah. And I'm
So,
moving houses right now too. So it's just like,
right.
oh, it's everything. But
Yeah.
but yeah, no, I'm feeling beat up. How are you guys feeling for bridge and regionals?
Heavy. I'm
I'm
feeling heavy.
feeling like you're weighing heavy.
Yeah, it's not that bad. It's just my water manipulation's off this week, so it just keeps
Yeah.
going up and down. And someone who likes to cut weight, it's not fun seeing the scale go up, but it goes back
Right.
down.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, you're still what? We're still what, like
Like a
6 weeks out,
month and a half out or
7
so.
weeks.
As
So,
long as I'm under
I mean,
250, like within a month, I'll
yeah,
be fine.
yeah. I feel like I'm making progress on some of the events I need to, which is obviously a good thing. But I mean, my Achilles heel is definitely my grip. So I've been working that like crazy the past few weeks.
Listen, you give me
And
some of your bag throw skill. I'll give you some of my grip skill.
I do like throwing bags. I will say though, I was talking with Gustafson a little bit, and I'm like finding consistency and finding like making it feel like I'm not just picking the bag up and chucking it and hoping for the best has been kind of difficult with that event, is what I will say. Like I threw in college, like I threw shot put and discus, which was like fine, but that's not the same thing as throwing a sandbag.
Hmm.
And like just finding that connection and like finding like what makes a good throw versus like a shitty throw, and like okay, I did an okay throw here, but I don't really know why.
Yeah.
That's been kind of hard.
That's a really good point. I think when I've only had to train throwing for one show ever, the
Right.
2021 Nationals, and I would have a day where I would have a really, really good throwing day, clearing the comp bar very easily with comp weights. And then next time I'm banging on the bottom. And like
Hmm.
I try
Yep.
to get meticulous with where exactly I'm setting up. But I'm the same. I feel that's one event I kind of feel all over the place.
Hmm.
I'm not a good coach with throwing either, and I have clients doing the show, so it's
Yeah. It's
sucks.
tough.
But
Yeah. I mean,
Haynes and Tommy Lavelle, who are two of the best throwers in the world, not just the
right.
class,
Right.
they have a really good video on official strongman games.
Oh, do
Um,
they? That's cool. I'll have to check
yeah,
it
I
out.
actually watched it and I thought it was really, really good.
Yeah, I'll have to check
Yeah.
that out too.
Tommy threw a 35-pound bag over 21 feet without touching the bar
That's pretty
That's pretty
on,
good.
crazy.
on one attempt. He only did one attempt.
Yeah.
That was his opener, and it
Yeah.
won the show, so he didn't have to
Uh-huh.
go higher. So that's
Right.
pretty impressive. So I thought that was cool. I'm sure there's some good videos out there about throwing.
Sure. Sure.
But
That's one
getting to
thing
the
Um,
too. Like,
yeah,
show,
like you said, it's my it's my first show doing it, so
yeah.
there's
Yeah.
a big learning curve anytime you're doing it for the first time. So
Yeah, and there's a lot more at least it feels this way. There's a lot more factors to be consistent than like a deadlift where you just like go and set up almost and it's like I don't know, throwing
yep.
just
Hmm.
feels weird. So
Hmm.
yeah, but let's talk about our comp. Let's talk about the stuff the gym has coming up. So
Yep.
June 24th is Bridge, which is just our local show we do every year with every class available, open, masters, teens, um, novice. You don't need to be qualified for anything. Come down. I think we're over 50 people signed up now, 40, 50 people, something like that. But
Good. That's good.
and then regionals is June
Hmm.
24th and 25th. So
Hmm.
got to be qualified for that through Strongman Corporation. So
160 spots left on the Battle of the Bridge
yeah,
too.
40 people for Bridge.
And
Yep.
then the
Okay.
Northeast Regionals, there's 157 spots left.
Yeah. So It's 43 people. So yeah, I mean, we're right on par with the amount of people we had there last year. It's just split over 2 shows.
Yeah.
Right.
People are
Right.
starting to sign up and stuff, so that's cool. We're 7 weeks out. It's gonna be a really fun weekend. I hope to see a lot of people there. Whether you're on the regionals or the bridge side, we're gonna put together a great show for you guys.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna say anything because I made a pinky promise with Hossware, but the bridge shirts and the shirts that for purchase are something they've never done before, and they said
Oh
we're gonna
yeah.
be the crispiest shirts they ever made.
Is it 3D?
They've never. I made a pinky promise. I can't say what they are,
Okay.
but
I trust Jake
it's
and Ross. I trust
yeah.
that if they say it's gonna be crispy, it's gonna be
But
crispy.
dude, we're gonna.
Just be
It's
like those
shaping
double
up.
downs.
It's shaping up to
Yep.
be a cool weekend. Like so, booths we're gonna have there. We'll have Hossware. Obviously our 580 booth with horsepower, comp
Mhm.
shirts, stuff like that. Lift Hard Die Strong is a sponsor. They're a really cool apparel company. They're gonna be there. A veterinarian office is gonna have a booth there. I think Catch a Lift Fund, which is a really cool military foundation, they're gonna have a booth there with some stuff to do at the booth, which I think is really cool.
Yep.
So it's turnout. We're gonna have some booths, have a fun weekend. If you don't know about our shows, we have a 1 day or a weekend liquor license. So if you're just a spectator and you like to drink beer like it's at a baseball game, you can have a beer whether the event you're watching is outside or inside, and walk freely amongst the property with an open container, which is really cool. We'll have food, stuff like that. And as always, I always mention it, but there's no charge to get into any of our events, which I really love.
Never.
So
Never
bring
will
the
be.
whole family down. We got plenty of room. We got plenty of spots and room to watch. So,
Right.
um, really excited for that. The one I shouldn't say this, but the one I'm most excited for that we have planned right now is August 5th,
The
the
deadlift
580 deadlift
championships.
championships.
Yep.
I think I'm
That's
most
gonna be a fun
excited for it
day.
because it's a lot less work. It's just a
Uh-huh.
open deadlift championship. Everyone's just going to come max, men, women. There's no weight classes. It's just as many attempts as you want, whatever stance you want. Conventional sumo straps, no straps. We're just pulling on a Texas deadlift bar and just as many attempts as you want. And we're just going to have a fun day. It's
Just
$25 to
have
enter.
fun.
You get a Hossware shirt. The goal is for everyone to pull a PR and just have a really awesome, crazy day. We're going to have a great spectator chair set up, like almost more like a powerlifting meet, and have
Mhm.
like 200 chairs set up. So a lot of room for spectators. We'll have the music blast, and I'll make a playlist. I'll email out to all the competitors, um, like what songs they want and stuff like that. We can put them on, so everyone can have music they want, deadlift to and stuff like that. And it's just gonna be a really fun day. So
And
25
remember,
bucks gets you a contest tee.
I was gonna say, remember, it's not. You have to search it under filters as other
Yeah,
events on Iron Podium.
yeah, really good
It
point.
is on Iron Podium. It
Yeah,
is
Iron
there.
Podium sucks now, and they won't move my event to under Strongman. They don't actually suck, but it's just frustrating because no one can find the event now, and they won't move it under Strongman. So, you got to search under the filter thing, and then click the button, other, and then search 580, and it'll come up.
It might be a good idea for you to do like a screen recording
Yeah,
and then
that's
like
true.
post that to like the 580 page and be like, hey, if you're looking for the deadlift championship,
That's a
this
really
is the
good idea.
route to get there. And then just
Yeah,
put it on your story or something. And
yeah,
then
that's
people
a good
can,
idea. I might make a post
yeah.
of that like this upcoming week or something.
Right.
Yeah, that's
Right.
cool.
Because I'm sure people have looked and they just go, yeah, whatever, I don't care.
Mhm.
You know?
Hmm.
Well,
So
I've had multiple people message me and ask why I canceled it.
right.
I'm like, that's
It's not
frustrating.
canceled.
Yeah, and I'm trying to relay my
Uh,
frustrations to Iron Podium, and they're not really hearing it. So,
right.
it's all good. It's what it's their platform. Um, but also to backtrack, we'll be sending out event videos starting this week.
Hmm.
Cool.
For
That's
Bridge and
cool.
Regional. So, we'll send you guys a link to a YouTube video, and it'll explain everything. Um, for that specific event, you can comment any questions, and then that way everyone has access to one video. You won't be surprised on game day. It'll be exactly how it's going to be set up, and you can ask any questions, and other people can see our responses to the questions and answers. So it's really good. It's better, in my opinion, than posting like just a text on YouTube and stuff or on Facebook.
Right.
Um, but yeah,
Mhm.
so and then Polar Express, it's not up yet and it won't be for a while. But 50 competitors hoping to sell that out really quick again this year, but it'll be on December
Yep.
9th. So
Nice.
yeah, December 9th, Saturday.
Not
5
to
events are
not to
picked.
compete with
No one
OSG,
else.
right?
What's that?
We're trying not to compete with OSG, right?
Week after. But really, really
Yep.
cool events. And it's gonna be really, really fun. So that's kind of the schedule this year for events since we were kind of talking about them. But
For sure.
curious, comment how training's going for Bridger Regionals if you're coming down. Sounds like we've got like 83 people signed up right now. So hoping to
Yeah.
go into the hundreds, hopefully, by the time it's done. I remember last year for Bridge with like, I think it was like 5 or 6 weeks out, we got like 25 entries, like last minute.
Yeah.
So,
Yep.
um, so yeah.
People do that though. Like people jump in shows like, okay, I'm gonna do this show, I don't know, maybe the middle of May. And then they finish up with it and they go, I feel like I could jump right into another one, right? And then they just sign up. So like I get that. It happens. That's
Oh,
cool.
I get it.
Yep.
And I feel like you're lenient with like your like registration close date too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like a lot of shows don't give you like within the same month as the show to sign
Yeah.
up.
Mhm.
Yeah. I mean, for regionals, like, what is it, Dante? Can you pull the Iron Podium up real quick if you
Yeah,
can?
it
The
says June 10th registration
the
closes.
deadline for regionals.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that's a strict deadline because, especially for regionals, remember, you guys are getting two shirts.
Two
You're getting a
t-shirts.
day
Yep.
one and a day two shirt. So it's gonna that 2 weeks. I'll turn that slip into Hossware on June 10th, and whoever signed up is signed up. That's gonna
Right.
be that's gonna be really it. Um, but yeah, excited to see everyone down there. I got some I got some topics I want to talk about this week, boys.
Let's
Let's hear
hear
it.
it.
Let's get
So
into it.
Jinx, you owe me a Coke.
so strongman stuff. I think so there's a lot of buzz around the world record stuff. I don't know what the hell is going on in strongman. Seems like I don't know about you guys. I don't know if it's just the lightweight classes or what, but it's like everything on Instagram right now is world record stuff.
Okay.
And I think I don't know. I just have some thoughts on it. I don't really care about records that much. And that doesn't mean that's right or wrong or, I have any say in it. That's just how I am.
Right.
But people are talking about standards with lifts. And we talked about it last week with Bill Kendall with the judging. And
Hmm.
judging definitely needs to be better. I think a lot of people in training don't have enough people in their corner that'll tell them something's bullshit in training. And
Sure.
they're surrounded by yes men. And I think that is another big issue, not just with records, but in strongman, is people are surrounded by yes men and people like they pull a deadlift PR, which is awesome and it's strong but they're not locking it out.
Right.
Or, they're not training to the specifics that a meet's gonna be, right? Or
Sure.
whatever. And
Hmm.
I think that's having a lot of issues in shows.
Right.
I think that's a lot of the reason. And I don't know, just a long way of saying like try to train up to the standards, and it's gonna make
Yeah.
judges' life a lot easier at a show.
It,
Um,
it can be hard when you train by yourself and like Dante and I were talking today actually, and I was doing the Viking press and I was like, I'm gonna have to start personally asking for down calls because I know at the show, like, because I'm building the habit right now. Like, as soon as my elbows are locked, I just bring the weight back down, and that
Hmm.
doesn't necessarily mean that it's up there long enough for the down call, right? And I think, like, I have to take that responsibility myself and be like, dude, I need somebody over here to make sure I'm hitting reps that are up to standard because, you know, you're not doing yourself any good by doing that. So
yeah,
Hmm.
yeah.
and I don't know. Is there like anything specific that you're thinking of? Like obviously we know about the dumbbell at World's Strongest Man.
Just
There's
a
a little
lot
bit
of
of
stuff.
explanation on that, and like I kind
Yeah.
of get it, but like it is what it is. But
No, there's just been a lot of stuff floating around, and I think people make really good points. Like Josh Lancaster from the UK, who's a big British strongman coach, he had a point like about like the athletes need to have a higher standard, and compete and accomplish lifts up to a certain par. And I agree with
sure,
that. However, it's a lot, like you kind of just said, Froley, like it's a lot easier said than done
Hmm.
because when you're under that max load,
Shit's heavy.
sure, like a
I mean,
70%,
I
a
mean, you're not.
70% circus dumbbell, dude, I can
Yeah.
press it, hold it,
Right.
talk to you. But
Right.
like when you're hitting that PR that's 105% of what you've ever hit,
Mhm.
it's easier said than done. So I put my thing is I put 90% plus on the judges
I
and I
was
put
just gonna say,
10% less.
I don't fault any athlete that ever gets a call that's like gifty, right? Like
No.
that's probably the right word for it. I mean, it's a little
Yeah.
gifty, but I don't ever hold that against the athlete. I mean, that's not
Happens
their
in every single
responsibility.
sport, man.
Yeah,
Every
exactly,
single
dude.
sport.
That's not their
In the
responsibility.
UFC, there's bad stoppages. In baseball, there's bad
For
strike
sure.
calls.
Yeah.
Football, etc. Every example you can
But you
find.
could throw the ball right down the middle to me. If I'm batting and it's ball four and the ump calls it ball
Hell
four, I'm
yeah,
taking
dude.
a walk. It's not
Hell
the
yeah.
batter's fault, you know? So
Well, it's
it
like,
is what it is.
yeah. I see. My thing is, if I owned a federation or I was in charge of a federation, I would create a quick judging class. This is my
Sure.
fix.
Hmm.
And it's $10, $10 certification. We're gonna put all the legwork in and have a really cool online class you have to go through and be verified that you can judge a comp.
Hmm.
Yeah, it's gonna put a lot more stress and burden on promoters. But then, dude, you know what? You're gonna have better promoters. It might weed out bad promoters.
Right.
It's gonna
And
make sure, damn sure, you have good judges that are bought in.
like not everyone needs to be a show
Right.
promoter too. So it's like
Right,
it really
100%.
encourages that if you really want to do the show or really want to be a promoter, this is what you're gonna
Right.
have to do.
Well, but
When
it's
you
like,
could
yeah,
separate, good.
well, I'm just saying, at some point, you have to have standards. And I
Right.
know strongman is unstandard, but you have to have standards within our weird sport where,
Right. But like the non-standardization of equipment and using different logs and sandbags is not the same thing as not having if, satisfactory lift standards. Like that's
right,
not the same thing. Like we could say, yeah, strongman's not a standardized sport. We get that, right? Natural stones, I mean XYZ, but there's a difference between non-standardized equipment versus standards of completion of a lift or event,
yeah,
right?
yeah. Yeah, I just think like if I'm the promoter, right, and I have to pay $10 for Frawley's annual certification, Dante's, X 5 people, I'm gonna pick them very carefully
Sure.
because I'm spending $50, and I want them and then so I'm more bought in financially and mentally I have to pick who my good judges are really gonna be.
Right.
And then the judges are going to be more bought in because they had to go on in their spare time and take a 2 hour online course. And
Hmm.
your show's going to run better and you're going to have better promoters.
Hmm.
I'm not,
Right.
I'm like 100% not shitting on anyone. Like, really. I just think with Strongman's
Hmm.
little rise in popularity recently, like,
Hmm.
you're going to, there's really nothing from stopping anyone from running a Strongman comp, which I think is great. But
Right.
I also think it's horrible that there's zero vetting
Hmm.
for like props to Strongman Corp. They just added in background checks. I mean, this is different than the actual quality of the show, but anyone that's running a show and
Right.
state chairs, I'm background checked every year now because I'm
Oh
a
yeah.
state chair.
Mm.
So I mean, at least morally,
Sure.
you're gonna get better people because stuff's gonna come up if they're a felon
Hmm.
or something. But I just
Hmm.
think that there's zero, really, essentially zero checks and balances if you want to run a show, right?
Sure.
Except handing the federation money.
Yeah. And I guess the other side of the coin, like, is it really like that big of a problem? Like, is it rampant or is it like, okay, these are just, there seems to be a lot of examples back to back to back, like
Yeah,
in a
I
short
don't.
period of time?
Yeah, I think it's. I don't know, it's just more social media and stuff.
Sure.
But
Right.
also, there's just a lot more shows popping up, so you're gonna have bad calls. Listen,
Right.
I'm not
Hmm.
perfect. I call 100 calls in one show. I'm sure I missed some,
Oh yeah. I've
but
done it.
like it's the really bad ones and that are
Hmm.
happening over and over. And not even I'm not even talking about calls. I'm talking about the safety of events.
Hmm.
Like
Are you talking about like that one Hercules hold video?
Yeah, like that one Hercules hold at the show. I don't
Yeah.
even know where it was. That was horrible. And
Mhm.
it seems like the response from the Federation was very, very, very underwhelming, lackluster. And it's like, that's insane because when you work at a real job, dude, that's weeks and weeks of incident and accident report, interviewing people, filing stuff, and just an overall incident investigation. And in Strongman, it's like, oh, he was 1 inch from dying.
Hmm.
Okay,
Mhm.
well, stuff happens. Like, you know
Yeah.
what I mean? It's eventually going to get to a point where someone's going to get killed because the
Mhm.
promoter just had to pay $200 and they didn't really know what they were doing, and whatever. So that's my whole thing with it. I think it'll just, people will be more bought in and you'll have a better pool, but maybe not. Curious what people think about it.
That's why we're
Sure.
allowed to have opinions.
Yeah. I also think on the flip side, this was another topic I wrote down, but I think athletes need to stop pressuring promoters to get information out too early. Like I think obviously, okay, you need the basic information, right? Like for all you sign up for a show, okay, it's May 7th. You sign
Yep.
up for a show that's 16 weeks away. Like, yeah,
Yeah.
you want to
Right.
know who's promoting it.
Yeah.
You want to know the events, and you want to know like what time, where it's going to be, stuff like that. That's fine. That should all be figured out when you're promoting a show. But
Right.
people pressuring you to have a weight matrix updated 14 weeks out, even like 13, 12 weeks out, I think that's wrong because maybe the promoter's being lazy, but I know on my case, I'm trying to gather data and see what an actual appropriate weight matrix is so I don't have to change it on the
Sure.
day of the show. So I think like trusting the
Yeah.
promoter. Now, if it's 2 weeks out, like, yeah, that sucks, you know. But the biggest thing is
Yeah. And you can
the biggest thing
go ahead.
is uh pressuring promoters for events. I'm using this personally because right now I don't have Viking Press up for 5 classes. But pressuring promoters for events that you can't even train on exactly anyway. Like, you don't have the Viking Press. You have a
Right.
Viking Press, but it's way different. The arm angle is different. Just train it. Just train it.
That's
Like,
what I was going to say was you can like if you don't have the weight matrix completed, you can give people like guidance, right? Like they announce the nationals events and like specifically on the log, there's a heavy option and a light option, right? Like you can be like, okay, here's what you can kind of expect, and that gives you like because that's what people are after. I would say they're trying to base like figure out what to base their training around, and the more they know, like the better their training can be. And I get that, but like a Viking press, like if you're waiting on a Viking press, just train the Viking press, and you're if it's a regional event, you could probably anticipate it's going to be pretty heavy.
right.
Yeah, it's going to be for reps, obviously. So like train, like base your training based off of that. I
Yeah.
mean, it's also I would say that it's a little bit more understandable at like the local and maybe the regional show, but like a
Yeah.
big show, I mean, that stuff should be pretty squared
Yeah. I think 10
away,
weeks
right?
out, it should be like set.
Yeah,
But
like a
it's
big
like,
show, I get that, but
but it's like,
yeah, it happens.
how
People have
many times
lives,
you go to
people
a
have things to
show?
do.
How many times you go to a show and stuff changes?
And
Yeah, and that sucks.
look at the Arnold. Like when
Like,
we were doing
yeah.
Viking press, like we were talking Viking press, we don't know the weight in hand. We were just pressing the press and try to get stronger. And like they changed some of the events to odd objects specifically. So like
Yeah.
even if you did train everything, sometimes shit just
And
changes.
that's Josh's point too. Like, would you rather me rush to get the event out and then modify it on the day of because I made a mistake and realized it mid-show? Or would you rather me take my time, figure it out, and be 100% like, yep, this is a reasonable weight for this weight class?
Yep.
Boom, you're done.
I would 100% rather be the promoter. You show up to my show, an event's not going to change, a weight's not going to change,
Right.
nothing is going to change because you paid money and we said we were going to do this, 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 and that's exactly what we're doing. Like,
Hmm.
so yeah, if I take a little bit more time to set a weight matrix, there's a reason for that because I don't want to just throw shit at a wall and hope it sticks.
Right.
Like,
Another thing too is like if you're confused about a show and they don't have weights, what I like to do is I look at other shows and try to compare weights. So like kind of give you like a standard.
yeah, right.
Sure, that makes sense.
Like I didn't know what to set the weights for sandbag toss for
Right.
regionals. So we
Mhm.
literally took OSG 2 years ago and we took the weights. That's what we did. It was 2 years
Yep.
ago. So people are a little bit stronger now.
Sure.
Like, strongman just keeps getting stronger.
It
But
was also one less bag.
Mhm.
it's one less bag.
Right. They did 6 bags. We're doing 5.
Exactly.
So
So yeah. So I know it's going to be a good weight matrix because we went and looked at the results and everything. So yeah, like there's
yep.
all this data on Iron Podium and all this stuff in past shows. So like go use it.
Yep. Yeah, and if for example, for the Viking press, OSG and the Arnold just had the Viking press in both shows. So maybe not 100% the exact same weight in hand, and I know it's hard to measure weight in hand, but you could probably be like, okay, where was this weight at? And then base your training off of like you're going to approach that show.
Mhm.
I don't
Right.
think that's unreasonable. So,
Yeah.
Just because sometimes people just don't like to do homework or try to
Yeah.
do a little digging. So
mhm.
I just think I
I'm
guess
to blame for that a few times myself, but like I'm just
yeah.
speaking in.
It's also easy for us to say because our weights are out.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
So,
it's also
so I get that.
it's just a long way of saying, I guess, like if you're a promoter, take it serious because it
Sure.
pisses me off that people pay money to you
Yeah.
and you're not taking it seriously and stuff like that. Like that, I think that's the general point of everything I was trying to say. I could have said it in one sentence, I guess. Just
Sure.
pay more attention.
Uh-huh.
Um, I kind of want your guys' thoughts on one more topic this week.
Okay.
Is and this is also, I mean, Dante, you can relate. You're a weight class athlete. Everyone, I guess, on here can relate. But invites in strongman, like just invitations
Hmm.
for bigger shows. There's more and more shows popping up. I think there's too many invites going out in strongman, and I just don't want it to turn into the boys club where people are getting invites because they're boys with people and not having to earn their way to shows.
I mean,
Curious,
do you
curious
think
what you guys think and what people think about invites in strongman.
do you think a lot of invites go up because people are lacking or afraid of lack of participation in certain shows, so they're trying to fill the
No,
gaps?
no, I definitely don't. I'm talking OSG, Chaos Classic,
America's Strongest Man.
SCL, America's Strongest Man. I think America's Strongest Man. I didn't see any bad invites for that show. I'm
Neither
not
do I.
even talking.
I'm
Mm,
just curious just because maybe like their afraid participation might be down, so maybe some shows might add invites to certain classes or something.
sure.
I just
So from the very basic level, Strongman Corp introducing the regionals is great. I like that. It's really, I don't know. It's not a terribly new concept, but right, like it used to be. What were the 6 shows?
Platinum Plus.
Platinum Plus, yeah. So it's not a terribly new concept, but I do think it's like I wish that it was an open registration for that level because there are people who just haven't done a Strongman Corp show recently and they're having to do local shows to get to nationals when they're fully capable of signing up and competing at a regional, right? Like
Hmm.
like a Clash athlete should be able to do a regional show just because they haven't competed in Strongman Corp, right? Um like at bigger levels, like obviously nationals bids, I kind of wish there was like a top 10 rule for nationals,
yeah.
right? Like I'm kind of running through the tiers in my head is what I'm doing. I kind of wish there was like my understanding is the super heavyweight for the Arnold. If you make the finals, you get invited back, and I think that's pretty reasonable. And I also wish the same thing kind of applied to nationals because
I
then I get why it doesn't, but I kind of see the argument for too, right?
I wish everyone had to earn their invite. I think like big shows like OSG, top
Hmm.
10 gets invited back every year.
Hmm.
Like, and I think with some of these shows, it's like their first year doing them, so they kind of
Yeah,
have to have a baseline, and not everyone's going to qualify. But like, I think like the top whatever percentage should be invited back for the next year, and then everyone else, no exceptions, has to qualify. Dude, look at
I don't
Andrew Hanus the year that he podiumed OSG, he qualified online.
right.
Like he came off winning nationals, didn't get an invite, qualified online and was top 3 in the world.
Right.
Like, I think that's the way it should be. Like, I think you should have to earn your spot. But
It's not an
I
outrageous
just
concept. I
I
mean,
just think I think personalities in strongman, like from the top down, can get glorified and invited. And I think it's like,
sure.
I don't know. I
Like, I
just
mean,
don't
for the
want to
It's,
Chaos
it's sure.
Classic, like
Oh,
for the Chaos Classic, I assume you're referring to like John Hack being invited, right?
yeah, for sure. Like, and I think
Yeah,
it's cool
like
that he's invited, but like, I mean, he'll do well. It's a
sure.
name, and that's fine. They can, dude. Luke Davies is a great meat promoter, and he
Yeah,
knows.
it's not a dig.
No,
I'm
I
saying
just
specifically like he
I
would be
just
the
think
one that
about
I'm
it,
thinking
and
of when it comes to Chaos.
well, it's like maybe a better example is like John Hack getting an invite to OSG like a couple years ago, and it's like, did that take a
You know,
spot?
wasn't
Like, I don't know. I don't know. I just
didn't the show that he did though, or that he won, was that not a qualifier for OSG when he was
I don't
invited?
know. If it is, then I
I thought that it
apologize. Yeah,
was.
maybe it
Right.
was.
So like I get it. I mean, I get what you're saying. Like no one should just have a direct invite.
Yeah.
But like
And these promoters can
is
do
it
whatever they want. That's just my opinion.
sure,
And I think
sure.
strongman's so deep now.
Hmm.
Like, even in Britain, like I just looked at
Hmm.
the roster for the U80s Britain's Strongest Man, which I wish we had like U80s America's Strongest Man. That'd be awesome. But
Right.
and that would be a stacked class. But I'm looking at that. I'm like, dude, there's like 20 guys on here, and they're all like, it's a deep class. And I'm like, how many of these guys are getting left out from like OSG, Pro Strongman League,
Hmm.
uh, Chaos Class, stuff like
Hmm.
that, which is in because of invites. I don't know. I just don't want. I'm not saying it
I
has.
think
I just don't want Strongman to turn into an invite fest.
I think to an extent it whatever the expectations of the promoter are, right? Like PSL has pretty much made it clear, I would say, that like you have to earn your spot, right? Um like okay, so 50 plus OSG, we're gonna make Mark Felix qualify.
Well, but he's top 10 every time.
Okay,
he
okay.
wasn't the
So
previous year
But I
though.
know
he
what you're
did say that.
saying. I know what
To
you're
be
You know,
saying.
fair,
like, but
It
I
sucks.
think
It sucks because there's the obvious ones that are like,
right,
you know. So yeah, I get it. I get it. It's just a thought. Like, I'm honestly like not digging at anyone. It's just a thought. Like, I see all these invites going out and stuff, and I'm like, maybe I just see more invites now because Strongman has bigger shows now, and there's more opportunities
sure.
popping up, and like that's why I see more
I
invites.
yeah, I don't know. I would hate to see someone I would hate to see someone who is capable and competitive at a certain level not be there based on the fact that like, oh, you didn't meet XYZ qualifications, but you're very competitive at that level, but you didn't qualify. I don't
Yeah.
know. You know what like I'd hate to see that happen, but at the same point, if
But
you
it
are
also
that level,
sucks. Yeah, it sucks for
should not be hard to get there.
that kid in Nebraska that no one knows that has a 700-pound deadlift and but he has to qualify. Like, so, and he's
Hmm.
gonna kick that other guy's ass. Like, why does he have?
Hmm.
You know what I mean? It's like that's
Sure.
where I get it. It's like, earn your spot, because
Yep.
if I have to go to a show to qualify for the Arnold, I want everyone to go do a show to qualify for the Arnold.
That's true. And I think that's probably the most fair way to do it,
Yeah. Well, it's
right?
like,
Like,
yeah. I don't know. I don't know, man.
yeah.
It's
like I said,
Because if we
sometimes the invites I feel like are to get certain people in to draw attention
oh,
to the
for
show
sure,
too.
and
Because
that's
like you said,
fine.
half the strongman, the only way to grow the sport is to
yep,
make it entertaining. So you get said
sure.
person that used to be a wrestler that knows how
Hmm.
to put on a face and a facade. Yeah, he gets buried and everything, but he gets eyes on the sport. So that could be
Yeah,
one of the
Hmm.
positives to it, even though it is annoying for the
Sure.
people that actually want to do anything before it. But
yeah. No, it's
Right.
for sure. It's just like I'm. That's why I'm asking. That's why I
yeah,
brought it up. I think it's a good
Yep.
topic.
Yeah. I don't think it's a honestly my opinion, my like final verdict on it is I don't think it's that big of a problem.
No, I don't
I
think it
feel
is at
like
all. I don't think
I
it is
feel
at
like
all
what's
right now.
happening I feel like what's happening right now is like pretty realistic, if I could put it that way. I don't think anybody's abusing the power to
No,
invite
I don't
people,
either.
right? So it maybe one day that could be a problem, but I would say right now
That's
the invites that are going out are pretty solid. I mean,
yeah,
I think
that's
they're pretty fair.
that's 100% my thought too. I literally,
Yeah,
I don't think anything's being taken advantage of right now. My whole point was I just don't want Strongman to turn into the boys club where it's like, oh, these 20 guys are coming no matter what, like getting an invite no matter what. And even though they haven't done anything at a
yeah.
show, like that's my whole point. I don't want it to turn into
Like the
that.
open, like the
Yeah.
open heavyweight men
Mhm.
for World's Strongest Man in Rogue,
Right.
because that's basically what happens. They don't. I mean, if we're being realistic, they're not pulling the best at every show. The
Right.
best are not always there.
That's always been our gripe with World's Strongest Man, right?
Right.
They
Not just
fight
World's
for
Strongest Man. I mean, other shows. Right.
yeah,
The
yeah,
best are
100%.
not there. So,
100%.
and it would just like, yeah, like the branding's great, but like imagine if the best were there and you had the branding, right? That's kind of my thing with it. So,
Yeah, 100%. But
right.
yeah, I think it's a good topic. I'm curious to get more insight on it. We might have a
I'd be curious what other people have to
we
say
might
too.
have a big episode next week. We'll see. Well,
Oh, that'd be great. Yeah.
yeah. We might have some stuff to announce. We'll see. I don't want to promise anything yet, but our guest
Right.
for next week.
I mean, every episode with us three is a big episode, so you can
Yeah,
promise that.
every episode's a big week. Next week might be our biggest. We'll see.
That's a
Uh,
big claim, Josh. That won't.
we may
We,
have some may have some stuff to talk about with this person, I think. But yeah.
if we
You
can
guys have
talk,
A
if
anything
few
we,
else?
things.
yeah,
You guys have anything crazy you want to talk about?
nothing
Did we
crazy.
talk about the Texas regional getting announced
Oh,
for
the
OSG?
OSG Derek
Oh no,
Owens?
I don't think we
No,
did.
Yeah. Did we talk about that? I
no.
mean, there's not a ton to talk about, but other
It
than the
looks
fact that
cool
it
as
got
hell though.
announced,
It's on Iron Podium,
I'm
correct?
hoping.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm hoping there's more than two.
See, now this is
Right?
where they're in a weird spot now. I agree with you. It's like if they only have two, that's weird to me.
There's a bunch of people signed up for them too.
Yes,
Like
I
it's
agree.
weird
I
and to
agree with
have a
that.
regional and only have it for people near North Carolina and people near Texas. But then it's like if I'm in
I don't know
California,
about
like,
near because
well, yeah.
people will travel. I
Well,
mean,
it's a
people will
yeah,
travel for them.
but the
But
word regional means that region.
yeah,
Of course
but I
people are
think the
going to
other thing is
travel.
too. OSG is later. Like it's almost 4 weeks later.
Yeah, it's
So
way later.
there is a little more time than what I think
So
like perception is, right? Like because normally
yeah,
it's second week of November. We're now first week December. Like that's
and he did,
different.
yeah. And they did mention that the online qualifier would be in July, just for anyone.
Mhm.
OSG did. So I saw
Right.
that in a post. But yeah, that
Yeah.
at the North Texas Strength Expo,
Uh-huh.
um, they're having Strongman, which is an OSG regional,
Yeah.
powerlifting, mass wrestling, arm wrestling, and Highland Games all at the same place. That's
Which
cool.
that's awesome.
That's cool as hell.
Mhm.
That's goals right there.
Did you say powerlifting?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, because he said I watched Derek's video and he said the USAPL is hosting an event, which that's
Yeah.
cool. I'm big on that. That's
I'm
awesome.
bummed. I'm bummed I didn't get to train at that gym because Derek Owen seems like a cool guy. Like the
Yeah.
little bit we got to talk to him. That gym looks cool.
Mhm.
There's another regional, the Strongman Corp regional got announced
Yeah,
too.
Mid South Kentucky Regional got
Oh
announced.
yeah. Hmm.
So there's a ton of opportunities, man. There's Strongman Corp has 5 regionals this year for
Right.
the Arnold. People forget the Arnold bids are really cool.
Hmm.
Coolest part
Right.
about the regional. And there's more nationals bids than in a local show. So that's
Right.
awesome. Then OSG, like I said, I think it's just in a weird spot. And
Mhm.
I'm not trying to be too critical. Lynn knows what he's doing. He's been so successful with OSG. I just want to see him do 4 regionals.
Yeah, I thought the regional system worked really well last year. I was excited to watch each of them, and I think I did. The only one I didn't was the one in Washington. I had something to do that day. I can't remember, and I never got around to watching it. But I remember watching the Texas and the North Carolina regional last year. So I think it's great. I think it's awesome. But I'm not much stressing about it yet because I feel like if there's two, there's going to be a couple more. Just don't know when they're going to get announced.
Because last year there was three, right?
I think so.
Yeah,
No,
Tech
4.
4. It was Texas, North Carolina, and Washington.
Wasn't there
I
one
think there's only
more?
3.
California?
I don't think so.
That was
think there's only
Washington.
3.
You're thinking
Oh,
of?
maybe there was 3. Yeah.
Oh well.
But
Yeah. We'll
Unless you
see.
count the online qualifiers, the 4th, then by all means.
No, I'm not counting that.
right.
But
What are
yeah,
your
I thought
what's your guesses for the online events for online qualifier?
if there's not a deadlift, I'm gonna quit.
There has to be a
There
deadlift.
has to be a deadlift.
There has to be a
It's gonna be
deadlift.
max Viking deadlift.
I'm saying it's gonna be a max deadlift, just max.
Okay. hmm
Um, I would love to see like a more conditioning event versus static, like what they did I think it was 2 years ago, with like
Mhm.
bringing the sandbag
With the
back and
sandbag.
forth. I would love to see something like that.
Yep.
I think that's really cool. And then a press of some sort, probably
I'd
a
love
lot.
a max distance carry. A
Yeah, that
max
would be
distance
so cool.
sandbag carry would be awesome.
That'd be so
I would
cool.
like that.
Yeah.
Because
So let's go.
it's not terrible to judge. I mean, if you line it up and just show your course and then keep your course in your frame,
Yeah,
I don't
you
think
have
that's
to
too
keep it
bad.
in the frame though, which I'm sure they would be strict.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah, give us.
Right.
Doesn't CrossFit do that? Like you have to keep your
Yeah,
moving
CrossFit
stuff
does
in
that
the
shit
frame.
too.
So
Yep.
Yes, I mean, let's go max deadlift, max distance carry, and then a 3 rep max log. That's what it's gonna be.
I would love a 3 rep clean and press log.
that's what I was thinking. Clean and press every rep.
Yep.
I would love a 5 rep max deadlift.
That wouldn't be
It's
too
brutal.
bad. That was a couple years ago. It was five.
Yeah,
It was five
right.
rep.
But yeah,
Cool.
cool. Well, hopefully we're all going to OSG this year.
I mean, I'll be there regardless.
Spectating
Yeah,
or
I'll go either
competing.
way.
But
Right.
but yeah, man, 580barbell.com. Get your merch, horsepower. Get your grip mountain chalk from Dante. Dante, what's the link?
It's on. I don't have an actual URL right now. It's on the web. It's on the Instagram though. But
Gotcha. Go to Dante's Instagram, buy some grip mountain chalk. Only chalk we use at
Yeah.
580 barbell. And yeah, we'll see you guys next week.
Peace.
See you guys.
Later.